So I skipped yesterday. So I'm going to have to make up a day at some point. But I want to talk a little bit about preparations for getting yourself ready to make an offer. And one of the situations I have right now is I have a client that wants to buy a home, and they live in the Northeast. They have their home that's getting ready for the market, but it's not sold yet. It's not under contract. It's not even on the market. And as we have gotten to know each other, and I've been showing them homes virtually, and I'm getting ready to show them another home today, one of the things that I want my clients to do ahead of time is to get their ducks in a row as far as mortgage situations. So I do enjoy showing houses, and I love selling houses, but I want my clients to be in the best possible position for showing, getting ready for buying a home. Now, what can you do if you find the house, like the house that was meant for me, and I'm going to die in this place, which we hardly ever do, but like this is it. What do you do? What can you do if the home of your dreams comes on the market before you've gotten your home ready for sale? There's a few things you can do. Number one, I've done this a couple of times this year. If you have equity in your home, your existing home, there are circumstances and loan programs out there where you can pull equity from that house and move it to the purchase of your new house, end up with only one mortgage payment, but you're accruing some extra interest. These programs aren't free. They do cost money, but it is a way, if like the perfect house in the perfect scenario comes on the market, this is certainly a way where you could possibly move equity from one home into the other. I've done it a couple of times this year. I've had one client who was moving to, they found the house, and it was new construction, and homes were selling pretty quickly in that neighborhood. And they had lived in their old house for like 15 years. And so they had plenty of equity, and they were able to move it. And I have another client, similar situation. They built a house in like 2019. So, they've got plenty of equity, and they live on acreage and don't want to handle the acreage any longer. So they moved, they bought a house in a 55 plus community and are moving their equity over. They moved that into their new home, and now we've got their old house on the market. So there are ways that you can do it. There's some other situations as well. One of the issues I had this year, not issues, but circumstances, is I had a client that purchased a home, and they had another asset that was freeing up some extra money. And so what they did with the lender is actually do what's called a recasting. And so it's basically kind of working the loan numbers so that they a little bit like they had to make one house payment, and then they could recast and add money to the like an extra down payment. And look, I'm not a lender. Okay. So there's a reason why I work with good lenders, but I'm not one, because like this is not my wheelhouse. But I know that they ended up with extra money. They wanted to put in their mortgage. They wanted to see if they could get a lower interest rate, which they were able to. And so they did a recasting. So there are, I don't like to use the word creative when it comes to financing. However, I do think that in certain circumstances, flexibility or having different loan programs that would fit for your certain needs are appropriate. And having a lender that's really good, and the way that I say it is like they're good at putting together puzzles, because all the pieces have to fit just right. And I need a lender that's able to think critically about, all right, what does this picture look like? What do we have? What tools do I have in my toolbox, so to speak, that will make this loan program work for my clients, our clients. So I work with, I only work with a couple of lenders. I don't work with many lenders because the lenders that I work with are the absolute best lenders I've ever worked with, ever. And why would I need to start, kicking the hornet's nest, so to speak, by finding more lenders that I don't know how they operate? So this is the kind of lender that I want to work with my clients. Someone that when I send them to my lender goes, they're great, they're good to go. And if she says they're good to go, I don't have any problems with that. I do not typically show homes to people that have not had their assets looked at. And there definitely is a difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval letter. Sometimes you don't actually know what you're getting, but here's the difference. A pre-qualification is just what it is. You haven't been qualified yet. This is a letter that the lender has talked to the borrower. The borrower has said, this is my credit score. This is my income. Do I qualify? But the lender has not seen any documentation. So a pre-qual is just that. They have been, it's prior to a pre-approval. Now, when we get a pre-approval letter, it should say that they have verified assets. And if I don't see that kind of information, I'm calling the lender. I call the lender anyway. I want to hear from the lender if I've been, I want to hear from the lender. And I like for the lender to call me if I'm the listing agent. It's a very rare thing. My lender does that. And it does help with the acceptance process with a listing agent. If I've got a buyer and my lender picks up the phone and calls the listing agent, says, hey, we're submitting an offer to you soon. I just want to let you know what's going on with the lending process and how that's going to work. This is what we do. This is how I operate. I want to make sure that the lender gives the listing agent a warm and fuzzy feeling about us and the qualifications of my buyer, to put my buyer's best foot forward in front of that listing agent. Because if that listing agent feels really good about the house or the borrower being able to purchase the house, then we have a better opportunity to step forward and maybe get that offer accepted. So that is what I wanted to talk about today, because here I have a buyer that hasn't got their home on the market yet, and we may have found like the house for them. And if that's the case, then I want to make sure that I put their best foot forward in this marketplace so that they can get their offer accepted. And in this situation, the home went on the market this morning. It was a coming soon the night before last. So today's Friday. So Wednesday night, it came on as a coming soon. And when I went to make a showing request, there were already 6 showings for today. So this is probably going to sell in a multiple offer situation. I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know that. But given just the number of showings, the market is saying there's value in this house. And so I'm going to go take a look at it today with my clients, and we're going to figure it out. But I hope they're going to be able to purchase this, because it's a beautiful home and it's my number one favorite builder in the area. So if you are, if you want to buy a house, if you found the house that you want to buy, but you haven't gotten your home on the market yet, there are things you can do with the right lender. So if you, have any questions or have a situation like that, I do have a lender that can help you with that situation. So that's what we've got today. It is Mother's Day weekend. I wish all of you the very best. If you're a mother or grandmother, surrogate mother, all of us have mothers, and I will be spending the weekend with mine. It's a rare thing, but my daughter graduates from college tomorrow. And so my entire family is going to the graduation ceremony down at the University of South Carolina. And we're just going to celebrate that this weekend and also celebrate Mother's Day. So I hope that you are able to celebrate Mother's Day in your own special way. I read an article or a post the other day on Facebook that said, what do you want to do? What do you want? What would you like for Mother's Day? And somebody posted, I want them all to leave. So I can have the day to myself. Well, I think that's going to be it for today. I've got to go show some houses. I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy Mother's Day. Have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday morning. Bye.